Alright. Come on in, guys. Come on in.
Hey guys, how's it going? Dudey, and I'm back with another video for this Halloweek. Hasn't it been a stacked week? I hope you've enjoyed it so far. If this is the first video you've seen, go back and check out the rest of Halloweek. Shout out to my patron of the day, and the patron of the day is Frankie Wells. Thank you so much for being a patron. I really appreciate you, dude. You're an absolute legend. Thank you to all of my patrons. I really appreciate you all. You can become a patron for as little as £1 a month, and it just supports me and helps me to do what I do here on YouTube. Okay, let's get on with McKamey Manor in 2022. I did a video last year, it was September 13th last year, called Exposing McKamey Manor's Human Torture Haunted Attraction, and it was quite a life change is a bit extreme, but it was certainly a very disturbing find, if you like. A lot of people suggested it to me. You got to check out McKamey Manor, you got to check out McKamey Manor, so I did, and I was horrified by what I found. And I highly implore that you go and watch that video, because I'd go deep into what McKamey Manor is and, you know, what was going on at that time. And so I'm not really going to go back over what I've already been through in that video, so you can kind of see this as a part 2 kind of update to that video, because what I want to go into today is what is the state of McKamey Manor in 2022. And the answer is, from what I have found, it is a shadow of its former self, which is very, very interesting, because obviously McKamey Manor was just this infamous, basically, you give your consent to be tortured beyond belief in some absolutely abhorrent and disgraceful and disgusting ways. And there are even some conspiracies that it was being live streamed to like red rooms, if you like, on the dark web, to places in like Vegas and things, where very rich people would invest money and, you know, put money down in order for certain things to happen. You know, think of it as like a still extreme but softer version of Hostel, I guess. You know, the rich paying for poor people to be, you know, when I say poor, I don't mean financially poor, I mean like, oh, these poor people, poor you, to be tortured. And Russ is the owner, founder, whatever you want to call him, of McKamey Manor, and apparently from what I found on Reddit threads, that he essentially bled his ex-wife dry, because there was no like price to do McKamey Manor. You just had to basically get put on a list, which apparently had 24,000 people wait list, which I've read a lot of places is total bollocks. And you just had to bring a bag of dog food that he would either give to his own dog or donate to a local dog shelter, I believe. And that was it. And then you're in. And then you sign a massive waiver. Now, I have heard that one of the waivers that was leaked is actually like completely false, and you're given a completely different one to actually sign, but you sign a waiver that has some absolutely crazy things in it, if the one that was leaked was true. It's in my previous video, and there is, you know, some extremities on there, all the way up to, if I die, I die, and it's not McKamey Manor's fault. Now, I don't know how that would hold up in a court of law, in all honesty, because surely you can't give your consent to be killed by someone, you know? So I doubt in any state in America that that holds up. So McKamey Manor, torture porn, like you can see that Russ and all of his lackeys, his volunteers that help him torture people, clearly got off on all of this kind of stuff, and it's still happening to this day. From what I have seen, such a lesser extent, it's almost embarrassing in comparison. So we will take a look at that today, and I found a video of one that literally got released like the other day, pretty much, or like last month, I think, and it just shows kind of what McKamey Manor has become. Apparently, Russ has now got a job working in his local Walmart as a cashier. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a cashier in retail, but obviously for such an infamous figure as Russ became, you know, being the head of this, you know, what was seen as potentially like a cult, or, you know, this underground dark web human torture trafficking type thing, to just be a regular guy now, works at a cash register in Walmart, you know, is quite a shocking turn of events, I guess. And it may be, and I'm not saying this is a fact, but it maybe puts to bed the rumours of these high-paying people on the other end of these live streams on the dark web, because, you know, if these rich people were paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for people to be tortured, then wouldn't Russ be a bit more well off than to have to work in Walmart? Just asking the question. I'm not saying that it's, you know, that I'm right, but yeah, so it's just a big question that I have. So he works in Walmart. Apparently it's still active though, McKamey Manor, to a certain extent. Although, so basically it looks like it's more of a very, very diluted, almost exercise regime now, more than anything. And, you know, it's gone from kind of being, you know, punched in the face and, you know, really physically abused to, well, kind of paint and glitter being poured on your face. Admittedly, the lady in the video that I watched, she did have a shock collar on, which she really did not like and did want removed. She was put into like an iron cage helmet thing and then forced to hold her breath underwater for what I believe was like 10 to 15 seconds at a time, rather than kind of being forced underwater. So I don't know if, like, you know, the laws of the counties or states that he has operated in has really kind of forced him and scared him into lessening the depravity, fortunately, of McKamey Manor, because it just seems to be a shell of itself. But there are people on the Reddit and stuff that are like, oh no, this is just like the build-up, and if you pass the initial trial, this is just a trial to get into the actual manor, and if you pass the trial, then you'll get into the manor. And it's just like, no disrespect, but the guy, you know, he's working in Walmart now. I don't imagine that there is an actual manor. I don't actually know if there ever was like a manor. He just kind of, like, you know, tortured people in vans and shit. So there are a few believers out there that, you know, this is still going on and it is still really bad. And, you know, when he's not working in Walmart, he is full on torturing people in some form of manner once they've passed this weird kind of semi-abusive with paint and a shock collar / workout boot camp, you know, flipping tires and apparently doing squats with chains and stuff. You know, it's just like, I don't know, I feel like the guy has got some sort of fetish for, you know, having control and dominance and abusing people, and this is maybe like the least that he needs to do to satisfy his own urges. That's entirely, you know, I just made that up off the top of my head, but from what I can see, I'm no psychologist obviously, but it's kind of like the gist that I get from this guy, that, you know, he obviously loves doing this, and some of his older stuff is fucking horrific, and if that is still going on, then holy fucking shit. But there is a Facebook page that you just apply for, and apparently, I mean, one person on Reddit, who knows who this person is or whether you can believe them, but they reckon, like, you know, the 24,000 list was bollocks, and now he does like 1 or 2 people every 2 or 3 months, you know, and they're kind of desperate to get people in to do it, almost so he can satiate his own needs kind of thing. There was like a monetary reward if you completed McKamey Manor, but no one ever completed McKamey Manor, and apparently a Marine got really close, but Russ stopped it randomly for safety reasons, kicked him off of the McKamey Manor torture train, basically, because it was clear that this Marine was going to get through whatever sick, depraved shit that Russ threw at them. There is a lot of mystery surrounding McKamey Manor, and you know, which has been added to over the years, but I think it's just petered out. I think that, you know, it's kind of been exposed, and I think the law has really forced it down into the shell of what it once was, and I think it's only a good thing, because, I mean, some of the videos I watched last year on this were absolutely horrendous, and I highly recommend you go and watch my first video exposing McKamey Manor's human torture haunted attraction, because although I didn't have much footage in there, you know, I talk about it all in much more detail. I go through the waiver and things like that. But yeah, what do you think about McKamey Manor? Have you been keeping tabs on it? What do you think of McKamey Manor in 2022? Do you think it's just become a sad, pathetic attempt for a man to satiate his deprived needs? Let me know down below. I would love to know your thoughts, because I know McKamey Manor is a big one for a lot of people, you know, and it's one of those haunted Halloween attractions that always crops up around this time of year, because of course it does. If this is what it's like in 2022, and there isn't like a secret manor once you get through this trial of walking around with a tyre and you're covered in paint in the middle of a random play park. What is it? What is McKamey Manor now? What has it become? Let me know down below. Let me know your thoughts. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to come on Patreon and support me, you can do it for as little as £1 a month, and I'd really appreciate it. But you don't have to. Just like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this Halloweek, and I'll see you very soon. Sweet one. Geese.